Welcome, beautiful soul. My name is Vlada de Souza, and I'm the host of your Soul's Therapist podcast. The show is on a mission to give you safe and practical tools so you can become more conscious, intuitive, and expressed version of yourself. I want to assure you that this is your safe haven to reconnect with disowned parts of your spirit, heal your heart, balance your energy, and embody your authenticity. I hold as a sacred intention that with each episode, your soul's growth will take another empowered step. May we make our world a better place through our personal spiritual revolution. Thank you for joining me. I feel blessed to have you here. Hello, friends, and welcome back to your Soul's Therapist podcast. One more time, I just want to send you so much gratitude and appreciation for leaving your reviews, for giving me your feedback, for sharing this podcast with those you care about. This all means so much to me, and I put a lot of energy into creating these episodes for you. So the fact that for some of you, this is helpful information that helps you heal, grow, become the best version of yourself, and supports people you love is really important for me to know. So thank you for all your feedback and participation in this journey with me. So today, I would love to open my absolutely favorite topic. I can talk about it for hours because I dedicated my whole career and my whole life to the topic of self-energy. It is a big topic. We can approach our self-energy as a spiritual aspect. We can approach it as psychological aspect. We can look at it from all the different places and perspectives. And I would love to give you a taste of how deeply and profoundly it is important to recognize that space inside of you that we will call self-energy, and not only recognize, but also feel strong enough and empowered enough to leave from self, to lead your life and create your life from self, to create your work from self, to relate from self, to parent from self, to create what you create from self. This self-energy is what gives our life the juice, the taste, the reason, the meaning, and the purpose. So if for some reason you felt like you're searching for something, you're searching for your purpose, you're searching for your meaning, something is missing, please stay until the end, listen to this episode. Also, I want to invite those of you who feel chronically tired, have this fatigue, chronic type of exhaustion. This also has to do with the topic of self-energy. For those of you who find it very, very difficult to concentrate, the thoughts racing all the time, you have your calendar full, there is no spaces between appointments and things you will be planning to do. If your life feels more like a doing, please stay with me until the end of this episode, because there is something really, really important you need to hear about this and you need to understand about this. And of course, for those of you who ticked the boxes, got the career you wanted, got relationship you wanted, got the house, got the vacations, got the things you wanted, and maybe everyone, look at your life, look at you and think, okay, this person should be quite content, and you don't feel content, and maybe you feel lonely, maybe you feel there is void maybe you feel depressed. Even if you have everything you always wanted and was working for, please stay with me here. This is really, really important. That's why I'm highlighting self-energy is the core, is the essence. It is the essence of all the teachings from spirituality. It is the essence of when we're looking for our authentic self. We really, really, in my experience, spend our whole life trying to feel in that space where the self has to be. And I will explain you why there is space, why there is sometimes lack of that self-energy, where is that self-energy, what happened to it, and how to uncover it. Now, before I go into this whole rabbit hole with you, I want to let you know that on 19th of September, I am closing registration and application for U-Turn, which is a 3 months transformative group mentorship on inner world mastery and self-leadership. This particular episode is dedicated to one of the pillars of this mentorship, which is pillar 2, that is called cultivating self-energy for more self-leadership. So this episode will give you understanding of why I included in my mentorship this pillar of cultivating self-energy, why without this pillar, everything else we are actually trying to do is honestly, pretty useless at the end of the day. And I myself spent many, many years doing things that didn't get me closer to the self-energy. I literally was trying different things, wasted a lot of time, wasted a lot of resources, and still felt like I am missing in my life. Something is missing in my life. I don't know why I'm here. I don't know my meaning. I don't know the purpose. Everything seems not real or fake. And I need to fill in that space with some things, entertainment, other people, distractions. So I really deeply know how it feels when there is not much of that self. Okay. So I'm with you. I'm 100% with you. And I also want to tell you that there is a way, there is a process how to turn this whole thing around. So let's try to identify a little bit more. What are the symptoms when we lack our self-energy? So the first symptom would be you feel your life is not real. You feel disconnected from yourself. You feel disconnected from what you do, maybe disconnected from your work. You kind of wake up, you do things you're supposed to do, you go through the motions, but you're not feeling truly alive. Like there is no sparkle. You don't feel your energy moving or your heart is open. That's one of the things that we recognize as midlife crisis. And I meet a lot of people in my practice that come to me and say, okay, maybe I'm not in a right job, or maybe I'm not in a right marriage. But the truth is they're in lack of self. They created their life not from self. They created their life from a particular parts of them. And at certain point, when they sit down and they really ask themselves some questions, they feel this is not my life. I'm not living my life. This is someone else's. So this is one sign of it. Another sign of it, if you are going to different parties, you meet a lot of people, you're constantly out there socializing. There's a lot of people in your life all the time, but at the same time, you feel always some kind of loneliness inside. And after these parties, gatherings, dinners, vacations, holidays with everyone else, you come home and you feel even more empty, even more alone. And just drained. And the reason why some people, after, first of all, feeling their life with a lot of socializing and also feeling really drained by that socializing, which I very often also commonly notice in people I work with, that just means, again, there is this gap between their self and parts of them that are doing all these motions. These are very, very important signs and signals. Something's missing. I'm not myself. This is not my life. Whatever I do doesn't give me fulfillment, doesn't bring me joy, doesn't make me feel really, truly alive. And truly and honestly, I know how painful that can be, and how after years of doing so many things to try and make ourselves happier or try and bring meaning and purpose into our life, we find ourselves in these moments, in these places where nothing actually matters. Not this resources we have, or holidays, or places, or people, or our kids, families, truly at the end make us feel happy. And a lot of people don't understand that. Sometimes, you know, a person in a family going through this experience, and spouse is just feeling really powerless. Everyone want to help this person, trying to coach this person, but they're just feeling this really like dread first, and then emptiness, some sort of void. I want to give you a little bit of perspective on the self and the self energy, so you understand what it is, who that is, and why we can spend our life being separated from it for some reason. Your self energy is, sometimes we can call it your true self, your higher self, your essence, your being, your soul. It is that core of you. It is you before you got all the impressions from this life. You got experiences that shaped you. This is usually like a child. Our self energy is a very childlike experience. That self brings qualities of curiosity, meaning we are not skeptical. We are not questioning everything. Self is open, like a child. Just our minds are open. Our hearts are open. We are open to the world. We are open to others. We are curious about the world. So there is this innocence. There is this curiosity. Also, self energy doesn't have fear. And it's a very good measurement. The more fear there is in the system, the less self there will be available to us. So self is the state of our being. It's a state of being. It is energetic presence, open, curious, spacious, calm, also courageous because there is no fear, experience of ourselves. And that means there is opportunity to just simply be, to feel really safe, to feel connected to ourselves and to others. And we are born in that state of self. This is the natural state. This is our natural birthright state of mind, state of heart, and state of being. And very often you can hear when there is a person that got enlightened, a monk or a spiritual teacher, they would usually say they are like a child. There is this very innocent smile. There is this curious, bright eyes. There is this free body that is not locked by anxiety and fear. There is this openness to the world. So every time we go back to that natural state of ourselves, of that free, innocent, spontaneous, curious presence, that is the sign we are accessing the self. And I also want to let you know that inside of all your system, the self, that self energy, that original design, original pure state of your being is, this is important, is the healer, is the parent, is the light, is your guide, your teacher, your guru, all you are needing in your life. The self provides everything. The self is everything you've ever been looking for. The self is that. And that is self. So as you work towards finding your way back to that self energy, the more self energy becomes available to you, the more you are able to be a healing presence for yourself, healing presence for your system, the more you are able to become a healer to yourself, to your system, the more you're able to reparent some aspects and some parts of you, the more you become your own guide. So the more self-energy you have access to, the less you will need something external to fix you, to help you, to feel you, to make you feel better. So this is basically our one and only intention. This is our one and only goal, how we can get back into self. To answer this question, let's just for a moment investigate why we get out of self, what happens to us. So as a child, in that pure, open, curious state of mind, we are innocent. We are not divided. We are just one whole unified being, pure love, pure curiosity, pure innocence. But the moment we experience something, it can be a certain traumatic experience, it can be a long, prolonged discomfort. When we experience something as a child, our system is so intelligent that it will create within itself a part and give it a role. And the part of our system will get into this forced state, or basically will get a job and will start doing this job. And usually doing this job will be either I need to be perfect, I need to deliver, achieve, prove, I need to protect myself, I need to control, I need to please people. So depending on the circumstances, depending on our experiences, there will be a part of us that in order to protect this innocence, protect this pure, open, curious being that we are, a part will take on itself a big role. So what happens to self when a part is taking that role? The self, in order to be preserved and protected, will be exiled from the system. So a part of us, in a very smart way, will say it is not a safe place, it is not a safe environment, or these are not safe people for the self to be here, for this pure, innocent, loving being to be here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to hide self to protect it, to preserve it. And I'm going to be the one handling this abuse, handling this person, handling this situation. I'm going to be the one. And whatever I need to do, I will do it to protect the whole system. So imagine there is one trauma. The self gets hidden in the system. The self gets exiled. It doesn't have a word to say. It's not allowed to come out because it's not safe. And part is doing and running the life. In my experience, when I work with system of a person, they don't have only one part that took on themselves a role and start driving this whole bus forwards. There are army of parts, and depending on the extreme circumstances or extreme neglect or abandonment in our childhoods, whatever happened to us, our system will develop an army of different parts that will extend themselves out of the self, take on these protective roles, and will be interacting with the world in a way that will be protecting, helping, and serving self, while self will be unavailable. Where does it lead us to? So when it's not us creating our life, it's not us engaging with the world from that pure state of being, from our true natural state, we tend to create inauthentic relationship, inauthentic lives, we take inauthentic career paths, we get ourselves into strange experiences. And all of that is run by a protective system. So, for example, a part of you takes on a role of pleasing people, making sure everyone will be your friend, everyone will like you, no one will reject you. So this part will create all this relationship. But the thing is, the self is still hidden. So it's not really you interacting with these people. It's the part. So in reality, this relationship with time will feel inauthentic. You will feel it's not you relating with them. It's a part of me. And I actually maybe I don't feel connected. So all those signs means your life has been protected, taken over, and run by your protective system. And the self is somewhere preserved, thank God, right? Thank God it's preserved and hidden. So the good news, the self doesn't disappear. And I really love approach of internal family systems that says, no matter what happened to you, people come back from war, very extreme situations, very extreme traumas, self gets preserved. That's the whole point. That's the whole point and job of the system, to protect and preserve self. So it's there. The problem is that to get there and unlock, unbury, right? Find again that self is a tremendously challenging task. And I tell you this as someone who is sitting daily with people and helping them to get to know their protective system, befriend their protective system, and really bargain with them, get them to trust so that they can relax just a little bit, so a little bit more self can come forward. And sometimes it can take months and months and months and years and years and years for the system to feel just a little bit more safe, to open that door and allow self to come into the life and interact with reality. Because a lot of parts just sense, feel, and know no way. this is not going to happen. This is not safe. The world that is not safe. We will be abandoned. We will be betrayed. We will be this. We will be that. No way. There is no, self is not coming here. It's not safe. So it takes us a long time to interact with this protective system until they feel it's a little bit more safe for them to step back and let the self come forward. So the good news, the self is there. The bad news, we can find ourselves spending a long time doing our life not from self. And one day just discovering nothing fulfills us, nothing is interesting. I don't know who I am. I'm going through motions. I'm just distracting myself day after day, and I don't know where I am. And it's scary. It's scary to stop and even admit that I just don't know where I am. And I feel you guys, those who have those experiences. I had that feeling myself, and I know really the pain of it and how difficult it might be to just stop for a second and realize I have lost myself somewhere on this way. My parts took the job, moved me forward, but here I am now. Things feel safe, but I'm gone. I am dissociated, disconnected. I'm not interacting with my life fully and completely. So here are the things that I would love to offer you as the first steps. First of all, this understanding of how this happens. Second of all, what we can do about it. Definitely from the world of meditation and the world of spirituality, first and foremost, there are practices. And I really love practices of just simple meditation. It's a type of a Buddhist approach where you sit and you create a separation between yourself as an observer, as a witness, and the thoughts, the feelings, the triggers, the activations that happen in your system. So what the Buddhists would do to interact with their parts is they would sit and observe, oh, there is this feeling coming through me that I need to get more successful at this. There is a feeling coming through me that I need to control that. There is a feeling coming through me that I need this and this and this to do. And we would just sit and we would witness all the thoughts, all the patterns. It takes very long time to really come to a place when you realize, and usually that's why people go on a very long silent meditation retreats. It takes a long time to realize that what I'm thinking, all these thoughts, I need to do this, I need to do this, and is not my thoughts. This is the whole point of Buddhist approach. To have this click, a moment where you finally know, all this time this has been a voice in my head. All this time this been a part of me that thinks this and this, that wants this and this, that feels this, and that's not myself. Buddhists spend their life to get to this insight, to get to this moment. It's not me, it's a part of me. Okay? So if you want to start really, really slow, and this is beautiful, this is profound, you can go on a silent meditation retreat, you can just sit and be curious. Oh, this thought come through me, this thought come through me, this thought come through me. Is it me or is it not me? And very often in the work that I do with people, we get to a place where sometimes a person thinks, but this is me, but I need it, I want it, I feel this. And the more we sit with it, the more we interact with it, at some point it's just this feeling, oh, it's a huge part of me. It's a huge manager, or it's a huge protector, or it's a huge caretaking part, or it's a huge self-like parts. And self-like parts, they have very particular energy. They really think they are self because they used to run the whole life. They used to run the whole show for so long. So they believe they are self. But then, oh, no, it's a part. Okay. So with the practices that I do with people and our work that I do with people, I get to take them to that place a little bit faster than many, many years of meditation. But you can start with meditation. Another thing, what you can do is some sort of just what we would call peeling the layers of identity. And I have a recorded meditation, peeling the layers of identity. I think you can find it on YouTube if you put it there, Vlada de Souza, peeling the layers of identity. And you sit and you just let this archetypes relax, like the mother, the achiever, the this husband. You just witness these parts relax. You help them to relax. You help them to relax slowly, 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 slowly until you relax everything. All parts of you that have roles, you help them all to relax. And finally, there is this spacious experience where it's no self. You can also explore meditations. I think I also have meditation that's called no self. And that means there is no identities. There is no ego states. There's no thoughts. It's just that pure open state. Now, in my experience, when the system has been through a significant traumatic experiences and it's not safe to do all of this. It's not safe just to relax all these protective parts, all these identities. There might be a part still not letting you really relax everything and watching you and controlling how deep you go, how far you go. I also find it very often in my practice where we do the session, we work with the system, we're trying to access more self, but there is this one part that is awake and watching this whole session and is managing and still controlling how much we interact, what we do, what we relax, what we don't relax, and it's still measuring and controlling how far we go, how deep I take this particular client into this state of self. Because again, the job of parts is to preserve self, and they will not relax just very, very easy. I want to share with you the holistic way and a step-by-step process how you can regain more self, how you can slowly, not everything at the same time. It's not like what happens during plant medicine experiences. By the way, I've never taken any plant medicine, but what happens in those experiences, the plant medicine, whether that's ayahuasca or other types, it relaxes protective system. And it's good and bad. The good thing is that you get so much access to self. A huge amount of your self energy steps forward because finally all the protective system is sleeping. So that moment you can really, really see yourself beyond fear. You can see yourself beyond anxiety. You can see yourself beyond control. You can see yourself beyond this achievement. You can get access to this pure state of being. But what happens after ayahuasca is everything comes back where it came from, and it can have a backlash because the system now learned someone relaxed us. We were out of control. We were medicated, numbed, and disconnected. So now we will develop new strategies so that it will be even extra more levels of control around the system. So this is really important to know. It is great to have a moment of clarity of like, wow, how open my heart can be, how open my mind can be, how beautiful, how free from fear I am actually. But then it all comes back, protective system comes back. Maybe there are some shifts, maybe there is some healing happening, but usually the system comes back to the wiring, how it always been there. And we go back to square one. And you might need many, those medicine experiences, but that's not really, I would say, in my opinion, not really safe and sustainable way to get to your self-leadership and to get back that self. What works? What's safe? What really works? First, we need to understand how to go into our inner world. And I know this topic terrifies a lot of people. This topic terrifies a lot of people who are afraid to go in and face all sensations sometimes of this loneliness, or actually there is no self, or actually there is some sort of void, right? So the first step would be to go inside, but it can be a threatening idea. Okay, so we will need to work with the fear of going inside. So that's the step one, to go inside. Step two is to learn and understand your protective system. Who is doing whose job? Who is the leader? Who is this master, coach, teacher, parent, protector, whoever you want to call it? You need to know. You need to know who is in which role, which part of you is forced in which role, and which jobs they're doing. That's two. Three, you need to connect with them and you need to update them. Meaning you need to let every part know who you are, that you are the self, and update. And sometimes it takes some time to work with parts until they really realize you're not 2 years old. You're not 6 years old. You're a mature, adult, capable person. So then the step 3 would be updating these parts. And the step 4 would be gaining their trust so they can relax a little bit. There is another whole pillar of doing the healing work, of actually going to traumatic experiences, doing the healing with parts that were traumatized, and that helps our protectors to really relax. But the basis is you need to learn how to go inside. You need to understand your protective system. You need to befriend your protective system and get them to relax. This sounds complex, and I know it's complex, and I know that not everyone can just sit on their couch and do it by themselves. And really, what I want and I wish is for people to have ability to not be afraid of their inner world, to go inside, to know how to identify their protective parts, and also to have skills to interact and befriend their protective parts. These are the sustainable, grounded steps to finally get your system to trust, to relax, so that you and yourself can be in charge. If that doesn't happen, there will be void, there will be lack of that self energy, meaning your parts will always need to work. That is usually with time and age becomes very draining and very, very exhausting. And the more they work and the more they realize they keep the whole system stuck in this protection, the self doesn't express itself, people fall into really strong anxieties and strong depressions. So I would say this is such an essential knowledge and basis and understanding of how to interact with your system, with your inner world. And slowly, beat by beat, let the self forward, let the self forward, let the self forward. I specifically to educate my students, because I want them to be able to have tools and capacity to do this on themselves with time and not depend on me or anyone else. And I also want to offer it to absolutely everyone who suffer from the symptoms I described in the beginning, feeling this is not their life, there is no self, all their system spends all their time just guarded, protected, and they're kind of like a small child strapped in a belt in the back seat. They're witnessing their life, they're observing their life, but they are not participating, they are not living, they are not engaging. They don't have access to self. Parts are more powerful, parts are more in charge, parts are more leading. If you want to really change that dynamic, and I do not want you to think that doing all this work on yourself will lead you to losing jobs, losing relationship. Absolutely not. The more self you have in your system, it increases the quality of life tremendously. It increases ability to love. It increases ability to trust. It increases ability to have spontaneity, to have joy, to have happiness. It just opens you up back to life. And if you created a fake relationship with someone because you thought, oh, this person will give me this and this and this and this, and actually sitting at the dinner with this person and there is nothing to talk about, and you feel even more alone with this person than if you would be alone, then maybe this is not the right relationship. Anyway, if you feel that some things needs to change, I need to really figure myself out. I really need to figure out my life. I've been doing something for ages and I don't know. I just don't feel this is sustainable. Where is this going? And I want more me in this life. There is no other way. There is no other way. You will have to sit down. You will have to do this process, interoception, going inside, meeting parts, identifying parts, befriending parts, getting their trust, and slowly, slowly getting yourself forward. Self-energy is you. Self-energy is you. And you know by the amount of joy, spontaneity, happiness in your life, ability to feel safe, ability to trust, ability to love, you know how much of that self-energy you have access to. And yes, some of you might not be ready today to go through this whole life-changing experience and learning. I understand that, but some of you might. And if you do, please get your applications ready by 19th of September and join me for this 3 months. We will spend specifically 4 hours working with you with only self-energy. But the whole mentorship U-turn is structured specifically in a way for you to go through all the steps. Because I want, at the end of the day, for you to really come alive, to be you, to feel more safe to be you, to have more you in your life. That's what I want. Because I know, and I see this every single day, how much suffering and people wasting their life, people wasting their time, just living in this emptiness. Their self is hidden somewhere at the basement and parts of them running their life, and nothing can change that. So for those who aren't ready, I get it. For those who are ready, do not miss this opportunity. I will not be doing this mentorship very soon again. So jump with me. You will feel safe. And I also want to mention here that during this whole 3 months of U-Turn mentorship, you will not be on the camera. No one will see your name. No one will know that you're there, and you will feel like you're like this, one-to-one with me. And also you will be receiving specifically recorded meditations and practices that after all the work we will be doing, that is not only me teaching and explaining something, I will be taking you in. We will be doing a lot of work inside of you. You will have practices that you can do regularly yourself to keep integrating what we do in our sessions inside of you at home. I hope this has been helpful. And no matter where you are today, I want to encourage you to fight for yourself and to make it your first number one priority. No matter what, no matter how high are the stakes, if there is not much of you in your life, this whole thing doesn't make sense. So I don't know which stakes can be higher. Living inauthentic life, living not as you, not feeling free, not feeling clear, not feeling confident, not feeling courageous, not feeling calm. What are the higher stakes? And yes, we can temporarily use different distractions. We can temporarily use different obsessions. We can obsess with sports. We can obsess with people. We can obsess with jobs. We can obsess with gaining things. But ask yourself deeply, is this really fulfilling? Is this really feeling in that space? And if it's not, then it's time to take the lead. I hope wherever you are, this was important for you and inspiring for you to know. And no matter what is your next step, I really, really wish that with time, your self-energy will fill in your whole being, fill in your whole life, and this whole experience will matter. This whole experience will be a valuable, full of meaning, full of purpose, and full of love journey. Thank you so much for joining me today. And if you feel there is someone in your life that will benefit from listening to this episode, please send this to them. Let's spread awareness. Let's spread love and help and support each other on this journey. I look forward to speaking with you soon and working together with you, either one-on-one or in group containers or in my retreats. Sending you much love, and until soon. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Your Soul's Therapist podcast. I want you to know that I deeply appreciate your willingness to find healing for your soul and add to our collective sanity. If you feel like this podcast offered you something valuable, I invite you to circulate a goodwill back by rating the show and clicking the button follow. If you will share this episode with your friends and family, I will be beyond grateful. My investment of time and energy to create this authentic content is significant, and your input and support can make a huge, huge difference. And before you go, I want to remind you that each of our journeys are unique and truly complex. And my commitment is to look at your soul with clarity, to help you see what you might be blind to see, and gently guide you out of the places where you have been stuck. Whether you're drawn to my intuitive healing sessions or profound depth of counseling, I'm here, ready to accompany you on your path. Go to my website, vladadesouza.com, and choose the best way to work with me one-on-one. May you be blessed.